Hello everyone and welcome to the Spire of the Watcher Dungeon Guide. And if you are not good at electricity, you may want to reconsider doing this dungeon at all. I'm going to start off by talking about just how you get this dungeon done, and then we will move on to thoughts on it later in the video. So as you can see, I kill a Minotaur, and in my bottom left hand corner you can see, or not bottom left, it's like the left hand side of the screen, you can see the Electrician buff. This allows you to shoot these nodes, which you will see me, we were kind of blind doing it here, but you're going to essentially start at the generator and work your way through these nodes following the wire. Now, there are some maps out there for some of these quirks because it can get convoluted, but you will eventually figure it out starting at the generator. As you can see here, you shoot the generator, follow the wire, and presto. I think here I was just missing one of the nodes in between this one here, and that's why it took me a little bit longer to eventually figure it out. But in this opening area, you're essentially defeating these conduit minotaurs, getting your electrician buff, shooting all the nodes. So we completed the first encounter, essentially literally the hatch opening phase to begin the dungeon. You slide down here, you hit your head if you're me, and then after you hit your head, you begin to ascend the spire. And boy, if you're a hunter or a titan and you're not good at jumping, you're definitely going to want to bring stompies or lion ramparts respectively, because you will have a difficult time. And the red one I just went past, by the way, will be the correct one you need to go through. It's what, the third to last one. So this is where the jumping phase begins. It's not too convoluted where you need to go. You'll eventually find the path. I'm sure there's a secret chest here somewhere. If anyone in the comments knows where that is, feel free to share that. I would assume it'll be a chest that just gives you whatever is in your loot pool, so if you're doing it the first time through, there might not really be a point to doing it unless you get a weapon. Either way, we ascend through the tower to the next encounter. And again, just kind of a PSA, there are a couple of blind jumps, and just a little bit of an opinion thing while we're here. Bungie did not do a good job designing this jumping puzzle, because I think the respawn timers are still 40 seconds in this zone, which is way too long, because some people are just not going to be able to do the jumping puzzle this easily. Also, if you're doing it solo, that would be horrible, but honestly, if you're doing it solo, there's no reason to not have stompies or lion ramparts on, because it just makes your life easier. Either way, I think it's not that bad of a jumping puzzle, if you can even call it that. It just takes a couple of minutes to figure out, and that's it. Alright, so you've climbed high enough to these little platforms here, where you might try to kill your teammates, because why not? This encounter is essentially the same thing as you did previously, you're just doing it higher up on the spire. It's very repetitive, this encounter. I mean, it's literally the same thing. You kill these conduit minotaurs. The only difference really is you'll have more adds, it seems, which I'm a fan of ad density. I'm an ad density simp, if you could say. So I don't really mind this. I just think it's really cut and dry with how repetitive it is, being just the same thing. Although this is more like a gauntlet. You complete a node, and then you'll unlock a grav lift, which sends you to another level. So again, you're just repeating what you did last time, but with multiple levels. You're going to want to definitely bring ad clear for this part, because as you can see, there are a lot of ads. I was using a Guy Falcon's Hawk or Hobrook build, just for ad clear and survivability, because I wasn't up to light for this part. Again, anything that's ag clear, gathering storm, skip grenade build. If you want to run nuke knives, that's of course at your own risk. Might end up killing yourself in game, like quite literally. So, I mean, if you run that with healing grenade though, it's honestly a safe choice. But I think Void or Arc is honestly a lot better in terms of survivability for this encounter. At the end of the day though, it doesn't really matter what you run. Also, you will run into these somewhat annoying Hydras that kind of just float around and spam you with damage, which is kind of their purpose. So as you can see here, I was using a sword because I was really memeing, and you don't want to do that. So linear fusion is good here just to have the range if you want. Pulse rifle just to deal with those Hydras because they are annoying. They will kill you a lot faster than anything else in this encounter, so you want to be wary of them. Once you've completed your climb to the top, you'll face Acleus, or okay, I don't know. You'll face the Siren's Current, and he will ask you to do the same thing you've been doing previously, except you will be activating these 4 fuel rods. Now, there are a couple requirements to start this DPS phase. Now, first, you have to complete the circuit. So as you can see here, I was attempting to complete the circuit right before DPS. Now, you kind of want to give your teammates a little bit of time or warning before you shoot this circuit because they have to be over on the fuel rod with you in order to do damage. So after that, we have all fuel rods activated. It'll tell you in the bottom left hand corner that all fuel rods are activated. Icarus, or whatever his name is, will come over. You will shoot all these little red eyes on his harpy wings, and that will enable you to do damage. Now, I was using Wither Horde and a linear simply because he does kind of fly away from you. So this enables you to do the most damage in the least amount of time. I'm not sure what the whiteout does exactly. I think you have to get or do that much damage in order to avoid this boot mechanic you see here. There isn't really a problem with the boot mechanic so long as you know it's coming and you are not close to the edge, because you will get booped off when he does that if you are not prepared for it. So you have to be conscientious of that. I'm fairly certain though, if you do a certain amount of damage to him, it will not boop you. So that's that. I mean, really the only reason we weren't doing enough damage here is because we had 3 hunters, no well, and we were all a little under leveled. And you know, excuses, I know. However, yeah, I'm okay with it. So damage, you might want to change up. Maybe you want to go galley and a couple of other rockets. You probably want a well to increase your damage output in the first place. I think Star Eater scales with Golden Gun actually would do a lot better. Orpheus Rig tether with Mobius Quiver also is not a bad choice either. Thunder Crash could be good. However, I don't know how good it would be if you don't complete the amount of damage you need to avoid the boot mechanic, because if you Thunder Crash into him, you then have to run away from him if you don't do enough damage. But if you're Thunder Crashing, you probably have confidence in your ability to do enough damage, so you can do just about any of those methods I recommended. Div with linear is probably the best and safest call, with a couple of Wither Hordes as well, just because you can do damage from a distance in case you fail to cause the amount of damage you need to avoid the giant boop. This encounter is actually really easy, and it doesn't time you. You want obviously a lot of ad clear. I think Wither Horde is great for this. I was using, again, an SMG. I did not switch off of my build this entire dungeon, but a pulse rifle or a scout rifle might be good here to deal with the floating harpies out in the open, because they're kind of difficult to deal with otherwise. But overall, you really don't need to worry about the boss here. He might shoot at you every now and then, but he's kind of superfluous and doesn't do enough damage to cause any type of panic. So, after you have defeated Acleus, or okay, I'm done trying to pronounce the name. I'm done. You can flame on me. It's okay. So after you've defeated him, you will then begin your descent from the tower, as you will see here shortly. While descending, you will be introduced to a new type of node, which is more of like they're red, so you kind of have to shoot them quickly in succession in order to activate the node. In our case here, we kind of didn't figure it out right away, but you can see I figured out pretty quickly that you have to shoot all of these in a fairly quick order to activate the door, and if you're not careful and you're standing near the door, it will kill you. So you want to make sure you are clear of the hexagonal or pentagon hatch. One of the two, I don't know which one. The shapes elude me. So you're going to do this a couple of times before you reach the final boss, which also has a bit of controversy, at least among the group I was in here, as to what his name is. So Persis, I'm calling him Persis, okay? Primordial Ruin. He is a wyvern, best known as a leggy boy, because boy, wyverns do have them nice turkey legs, if you know what I'm talking about. So you are using the quick red wire mechanic of the Arctrician wire hunting here. So you're going to have these wires that you need to shoot here, which are going to begin a reactor core overload. You can see here when I shoot that, reactor core purge armed, but you can see I failed as well. Reactor isolation chamber active, take cover. Actually, this wasn't a fail, never mind. So you close the door here, which I begin doing here. And in order to close the door, you need to shoot the 4 nodes on the pillar and the one above the door. This locks Persis in the reactor core as it explodes and will enable you to do damage. So again, the requirement here is that you shoot the corresponding nodes on the other side, the yellow wire. I'm going to leave also in the description as well as right here, right now. You're going to see a map which shows you the corresponding wires and where they need to be shot for this encounter. It does get very, very convoluted as you're going. You need to make sure that Persis is in the reactor core room when you close the door, or actually when you start the reactor purge as well. Otherwise it will fail the encounter and you'll have to start shooting the wires all over again, as well as reopen the door to get Persis into the reactor room. Remember that the room you start the encounter in is the safe room. This is the room you want to run to when you start the reactor purge. Now for damage, you can use, again, just about anything. I've seen Starfire Protocol has had the best DPS overall. Galahorn with other rockets has been really good. Div, just because of the wily and very difficult crit spot to hit as well. Obviously Cataclysmic is going to be really good here as well, as it is throughout a majority of the dungeon. So you can use just about anything you want here. You want a little bit of ad clear, a little bit of damage. It's really hard to go wrong with Witherhoard when damage and ad clear are in the formula, because it can do both. Other options, Thunderlord wouldn't be horrible. It's obviously going to take away from some of your damage. But ultimately, you can do whatever you want, because this dungeon, for the most part, is a cakewalk. And I'm kind of okay with that. Duality was by no means an easy dungeon. I think it's actually one of the hardest dungeons out there. And, I think there are caveats here and there. I don't like the wire mechanic quite that much, because it's really annoying to have to deal with ads and you're trying to hunt these nodes down at the same time. However, after a certain amount of time, shooting these nodes will become easy, and you know, basically such second nature. You'll know where they are. You won't even have to think about where they are if you do this dungeon enough. And you know, I think it's fun. Ultimately, I like the idea of climbing a spire like this in a dungeon, and it certainly gives a new aesthetic to you know, dungeons. I think it could have been done better, and you know, just having a large wyvern as a boss is kind of unimaginative in my opinion. But I get it, you know, it's hard to create new content and new wacky weird bosses with every release, and you know, trying to be the devil's advocate here, this dungeon isn't bad. I think that story-wise and ultimately overall, I do enjoy Duality better, and that's just preference. You know, some people might like this dungeon better, I don't know who. But you know, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this dungeon. I think maybe the guns might be a little bit better than Duality, but I don't know. Tell me, the bow seems pretty good. Might be better than Tiku's. We'll have to see. I don't have it yet. I won't pass judgment yet. Overall, this dungeon is okay. I don't think it's my favorite dungeon or close to it. But you know, that being said, I don't mind playing it. So like, you know, it's mid. It's mid. Bungie could definitely do better, and hopefully in the near future, we'll see that. Anyways, let me know yet again what your favorite dungeon is in the comments below. What's your favorite gun so far in this dungeon? Whatever. Just don't forget to subscribe as well for more Destiny content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And I'm going to let the rest of this play out for you. Enjoy. Also, I'd like everyone to take into account here, while you're watching this illustrious gameplay of Persis, Primordial Ruin, getting his you-know-what handed to him. I am really the only seasoned Destiny player in here. Both my compatriots, Sarah and Zach, are somewhat new to the game, so their lack of, you know, game sense can be attributed to that. So just keep that in mind while you're watching this. And you know, it was a long day, everyone was tired, and we're mostly having fun. Just enjoy the rest, see how it's done if you need to, and see you guys next time. First said I saw electrician, so I already opened the door. Lure him in there.
Hold on, I need a better bait. I'm trying to lure.
I need special
You are special.
Oh, you're right. I'm dropped.
One down.
Look at that.
Go to the other side.
In the room.
Be ready to run soon.
It's in the room.
It's in the
Ah,
room.
in the room.
Why are you room?
Right? Are you running?
What?
Here you go. Here you go. Please,
No, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Please. Please. I'm begging you.
I'm hiding
Run.
behind the pole.
Run.
Ah!
I have plenty of electrician left.
God. Alright, there you go.
Oh, got it.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Watch out, the guy behind
We
me.
got him on this one. We gotta get him on this one. We gotta get him on this one. I wasted my ult, and I'm so mad.
We don't have to. We're probably gonna get one more. Yeah. Just survive, survive. We might have to do two more. You guys like got a heavy and stuff?
Not a
no.
heavy.
I just didn't have my all up. I was doing my all.
Oh, okay. If you have it on the next one, you should be able to kill them.
Just go.
Aish.
Aish.
That means shit in Korean.
Oh, it does?
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Aish.
Or like damn. I'm pretty sure. It can go like either way.
So, God.
Maybe. I might be wrong. Don't take me on it.
I'm taking you
Any
on it.
native Korean speakers like might judge me.
I'm joking right now.
I'm judging you based on the S word. I barely hear you even swear.
I know. Right?
That's scary.
It's crazy. I'm trying to branch out, you know?
Yeah.
It's
kinda worky.
Very scary.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you
Run.
right there. Oh, right here.
Run.
Ah!
Door open.
Get in here, you rascally
Whippersnapper.
rabbit.
You want me. You want me.
Trying to get him to want us.
I'm sorry, I gotta run.
Run, save yourself. Oh, I gotta go.
You may or may not be coming. Got one. Running to the other side. Keep him in here.
Keep it.
Get ready to run soon.
Oh, watch behind you. Oh. Got you.
Run. Run.
Running.
I'm so funny.
Kelly. I wish I had my own right now. Are there any orbs? Oh,
We're gonna make some.
she can make some? That's crazy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
I
have
can.
any. Oh my god.
I'm gonna get up there and super him.
Alright.
Get up there, boy.
Back up, back up, back up.
Him earlier, right? Oh yeah, if we attack him earlier, I think.
Well, you gotta get up close too, because they're.
Guys,
No, kill him! You're doing damage!
Do
Yeah, we did
it? Are we
it.
gonna do it? Let's go!
We did it.
My gosh.
Feliz
There it is.
Navidad.
Oh my gosh.
whoa!
Dude, oh my god, I got the cider.
So I don't know if we come up with it.